Here is just a refresher demo on exactly how to use the patch tool, because the patch tool is so important to image restoration. This girl, beautiful girl, but if for some reason I don't want this mole and that on her face, this is how you can use this. I'm going to zoom into the area. Don't be afraid to zoom in to what you want to work on. That's very important. And the patch tool, remember, it lives under here. You've also got a red eye tool, all those lovely things. Patch tool, I set it to destination. You can play with the various and sundry options, not a problem. And you circle, using it for destination, circle an area that you think looks okay, and then click and drag right over the top of the part you want to get rid of, and Control D to deselect, and now it's gone. And then do that down here too. Control D, deselect, and then I'm going to come over here and do it on this part as well. Control D, deselect, and I kind of missed on that one, so I'm going to Control Alt Z, Control D, and I'm actually going to come over here and use this part just a little bit. And I wanted to do this one because it's actually kind of hard to do. Control D, deselect. There, I finally got it. You have to be careful when you use the patch tool, because if, for example, let's see if there's something else to get rid of. Okay. If, for example, I wanted to get rid of this up here, okay, I come over here, choose this area, not a problem. And if I get a little bit carried away, that's going to look okay. Yeah, actually it looks kind of manipulated. Okay, this is one of the examples I wanted to show you. You have to be careful whenever you've got a lot of texture in an area. It becomes very difficult to try and use the patch tool. Control Alt Z to undo that. Control D to deselect. So sometimes you're better off making a real tiny selection as close as you possibly can get to the area you want to get rid of. Control D, deselect, and that looks much, much better. Also, when you're using the patch tool, you have to be very careful that you don't get close to an area with too much contrast. For example, there's nothing here to patch away, but I'm going to do it just so you can see. If I get too close to her eyebrow, see what happens. Obviously, that is not correct. That is not what we want. So that kind of gives you a clue as to how this tool works too. Okay, so Control 0, there you go. Now she's got her blemishes taken care of for the most part, and yeah, there you go. Isn't she beautiful? Frankly, I didn't think it was anything wrong with her to begin with, but anyway. Here is another example of using the patch tool, but you have to be very careful. So if, for example, I want to get rid of this area up here, try zooming in, maybe not to that extent. There we go. And because of the texture, it's going to be a little tricky. So I'm going to use my patch tool, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to try and get something that's going to be very similar. And I might have to build this up. Okay, see how it's starting to look kind of odd? So start taking my samples from a slightly different place. And there, we're starting to get something. But it takes a lot more work to get rid of something like that. Okay? Control 0. And yeah, it's not perfect, but then again, the overall tone is different. And if I wanted to get rid of these veins right here, I could come in, do something like that, and there you can see, but you have to be careful. It's not something you can do in large pieces. Sometimes smaller is better.